Namaste, beautiful. Welcome to Yoga is the Answer. Today, the question is, how can I increase my mindfulness of the way that I am interacting with and exchanging energy, time, and resources with others? And this yoga philosophy lesson is the answer. It's been a while since I made a yoga philosophy lesson like this. So before we get into it, I'm going to do a little bit of review. So if you are already aware of the concept of Ashtanga, of the 8 limbs of yoga, feel free to skip ahead to the lesson itself. If you would like to learn more about Ashtanga, about the 8 limbs of yoga, here we go. So in classical yoga, we have these 8 limbs, which are essentially the 8 steps that we take along the way to basically enlightenment, which is the goal of yoga, the state that we are at one with everything. Yeah. So our first of the 8 limbs is the yamas. And our yamas are our social principles. They are these guidelines for how we are to interact with other people. And so then we move farther inwards, farther toward ourselves as we move to the niyamas. So our niyamas are personal principles, the way that we are interacting with ourselves, the things that we are doing ourselves. And then we move to number 3, the asanas. Asana is what we generally think of as being yoga. But now we know, if we didn't already, that it's only a very small part of yoga. These postures that we do are a step along the way toward our final goal. Yeah. And so then we move to number 4, which is pranayama. Pranayama is the way that we are moving prana throughout our body, and we generally use the breath to do so. So we can kind of think of pranayama as being breath work. Then we move farther inward. So then we move to number 5, which is pratyahara, which is the turning inward of our senses. And then we move to number 6, which is dharana, which is concentration. So in order to then reach number 7, which is dhyana, which is meditation, we first have our concentration. So when we are concentrating on something, right, so first we have to learn to interact with people, then we learn to interact with ourselves, then we practice these postures, and then we do this breath work to learn to control our prana, which then helps us to draw the senses inwards so then we can concentrate fully on something. And then when we reach this point in our concentration that we become one with that thing, that is our dhyana, that is our meditation. And then when we are in that state, that is samadhi. Okay? Anyway, that's that. Now let's go backwards and go more detail into the yamas. So we've already talked about our first yama, which is ahimsa, which is non-violence. I've already made a video on that. And then we move to satya, which is our second yama, which means truthfulness. And so now we are on to the third, which is asteya, which means non-stealing. So some people steal, like physically steal stuff, right? Money or objects or whatever. But that's not all that asteya means, right? It also means the stealing of time and the stealing of energy, right? The stealing of other kinds of resources. So I think that in order to kind of really understand this, it actually makes sense to combine this third yama, asteya, with the 5th, which is aparigraha. So aparigraha is non-possessiveness. And so it almost seems like paradoxical, these two concepts of non-stealing and non-possessiveness, right? Because if we don't possess anything, then how can anything be stolen, right? But so then we have to come back to this level of humanness, right? And so the non-possessiveness is more about objects. And so, like I said, this non-stealing is not that much about objects. Yeah, sure it is, right? So it's like, yeah, you shouldn't go and take someone's wife or money or, right? But then if that person is practicing Aparigraha, then they are to not be attaching to their wife or their money, right? Which means that it's deeper than this. It goes farther. It's more about energy, and it's more about time, and just being respectful of each other, right? So to me, I think a lot about time. Maybe I think too much about time because I also think about how maybe time is not real and all of that. But on this dimension in which we are living, if, say for example, we make a plan with someone and then we don't show up or we are late or something like this, we are stealing their time in a way, right? And so in that way, then we are not practicing Asteya, right? And so I feel like it's time and energy that, like energy vampires, right, is a big thing that we talk about in the modern world, right? People who kind of just cipher energy out of you. But then, like, how do you decide to whom you give your energy? And is your energy even yours to give? And these are like questions that I'm actually asking, right? Because I think in order to understand all of this, particularly, and right, I don't know what it was like thousands of years ago when this was first made, but I know how it is now. And I know that I, for one, am someone who is quite giving, as you might have noticed, because this channel exists. And I am giving, right, all of this away for free. A lot of time, right? And the reason that I do that is because I am trying to practice both of these things, right? Particularly the Aparigraha, right? This non-possessiveness. Is it my time? Yes. But if I am willing to share it and to give it away, and I trust this concept of, I trust this whole process, right? I trust in yoga. Then, as long as I am doing so with love and with pure intent, then I am not making it possible for someone to steal. So I think that even, right, these concepts can go deeper than the person doing the stealing, right? Or the person practicing the non-possessiveness. It's the other one involved too, right? So we can steal something from someone. But, so for example, if someone doesn't lock their door, is it their fault then if someone comes and steals from them? No, but they didn't prevent it, right? And I think it's similar with energy. I definitely have had times in my life that I have given time and energy to various people, and then I have kind of felt this like upset almost when they're taking it, but I was giving it. And I don't really know what, I guess I didn't expect it to say that, but I think that it's important because I think that in the modern world is what is important for us to think about when we are talking of these concepts of Asteya and of Aparigraha, right? That it's not always who we think of as being the perpetrator who is the only one responsible for that exchange, right? Because there is an exchange, even if it's stealing. It's still some kind of exchange that happens. It's like, but it's one that is upsetting. I was going to say negative, but we don't have positive and negative in yoga, right? So if we are truly, if everybody is practicing both of these concepts, then there is only, right, this exchange. There is only this flow. And I think it is through that we can really experience affluence, that we can experience abundance. And so affluence, right, the root of affluence, it means to flow, right? And so if we are allowing for this flow to happen, and we are all allowing for this flow to happen, and if we want something, then we are giving something else in return, whether that is money or whether that is something else, then we are following these social principles, we are following these yamas, and we are doing our part in making the world better and in making each other better, right? And so I will again use myself in this channel as an example that I make these classes, I put a lot of time and energy and even money into making these classes. But I'm not giving it away for nothing, right? Because if we talk about that flow, then I put those there, and like, I mean, and this channel is only just starting, but there's one video in particular that, like, I mean, has 16,000 something views. And when I think about just being able to teach that many people from wherever I am in the world, like the last video that I put up, I was in, where even was, I was in Guatemala. Since then I have been to LA, and now I am in Tulum, right? So I can be anywhere in the world making these classes alone. And then thousands of people can benefit from them. To me, that's not giving something away for free, because if those people are getting something from it, then they are then taking that with them into the world. And so they're not paying me, right? Very few people tip me, even though it's an option. Every single person could tip me for every single class if they wanted to, but almost nobody does. And when that option first became available to me, I must admit that it was a little bit, I did have a little ping of like resentment when almost nobody used this option. But then I have to remind myself that I am the one who is choosing to give this away. And I have to remember that this was always what I wanted. I always wanted. Since before I went to my first yoga teacher training, this was my intention, was to teach on YouTube. My intention was to always teach for free before I even learned that that is also, by the way, a part of yoga, is that we are meant to teach yoga for free. And so yeah, there was a little like, and still occasionally it happens, that I'm like, oh, if all of those, 16,000 people gave me $1, that's $16,000, And let me tell you, I've not made anything close to that in a year and a half on this channel. So yeah, sure, sometimes there's a little bit of, but then I have to come back to the non-possessiveness. This knowledge that I have, it's not mine. Yeah, it's moving through me. I gained so much knowledge through the teacher trainings that I have been to and through just listening to my own intuition as I move through my practice on the mat, and as we just discussed, even more off of the mat, right? As I move through all of the limbs, then I'm constantly learning more. And that is invaluable to me, right? What, do I really want $1 from everyone for that? No, I don't. What I want is for it to change each person, just in a small way. Every time they take a class, every time they watch one of these philosophy videos, so that they can take those seeds and they can plant them other places. They can plant them within themselves and they can grow. And every person who grows, right, all of the thousands of people who have watched my videos, I trust that they are growing in some kind of way. And that growth is spreading. And it's spreading love. And it's spreading joy. And it is spreading at a rate that is exponential. And that, I started over this video more times than maybe I've ever started over a video, because I only had the idea to make it today. And in truth, the reason that I am making this today is because I'm tired. And it's raining here in Tulum. And I didn't think it was going to be raining. So the reason that I came here is someone who was staying above me, where I was in San Marcos in Guatemala, lives here in Tulum in this amazing, I don't even know what to call it, community. It's not even a community. It's like the middle of the jungle. I am in the middle of the jungle, like all of my windows are enormous, and they have no curtains because there's no reason to have any curtains because no one is around. It's 120 acres of jungle, and every lot is 5 acres, but some of them aren't even built on. And anyway, when she was in San Marcos with me, it wasn't raining here, and it was supposed to be rainy season. And rainy season is supposed to be ending now, but it's not. It's pouring. And I've been really tired. And I have still been doing a little bit of my asana practice. I have not taken a single day off of like just my joint warm up and my sun salutations. But since I filmed the last video, that full moon video that went out, that was a week ago. I have not done, I decided to intentionally take a week off from my normal physical practice, including my Kundalini practices of yoga, because I wanted to see what it felt like. And so then today I had this idea that was like, I was thinking, oh, I'll teach beginner classes. You know, that's an easy thing to do. But then I was like, you know what? I made this channel because I wanted to teach about how yoga is the answer and how that means so much more than the physical practice. And so I started that at the beginning, but I mean, when did I make the Satya video? Like over a year ago? And a part of that is because, well, there are many reasons for it. But lately, when I started making money on here, then I kept wanting to put out videos that were going to get more views, that were going to make me more money. And so then it's like people aren't paying for it. But this is still my job. And it's nice to, have this exchange happen, right? Have this return of the time and energy that I put in the form of money. But I had to think about how if I am making classes with this intention of I need to be making money, that's not the place that I want to be teaching from. I want to be teaching from this place of, like I said, I want to be helping the world. I want to be affecting as many people as I can in a way that is helping them grow. So I took a step back and so that I could reconnect with that intention and with that purpose. And it just so happened that this was the next of the yamas to talk about. And then I decided that the two made sense together. And so now here we are. And I think that's all I have to say for now. So there we go. That's my stream of consciousness. As well, pretty much every video that I make on here is some kind of stream of consciousness. Even if it is a class that was planned, I don't practice them before. Sometimes I'll do the physical practice first, but I don't practice saying it out loud or anything because I trust deeply in my connection to the divine and to my higher self. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to teach you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next class, whether it is asana or any of the other limbs. With so much love. Namaste.